Those are the who going to trans all the transaction in the economy to record the balance of payment. Okay, why we need balance of payment? Why we need balance of payment? Hold up. Before the discuss about the balance of payment transaction and the elements, we need to identify that why we need balance of payment. Why we are going to discuss about the balance of payment. First, we need to identify the financial strength or financial position in a country, which position we are in the with compared to the last year or previous year. So after calculating the balance of payment, we just get the only just two answers. That means the surplus of the balance of payment or deficit of the balance of payment. Okay, you need to find out the there's only two answer. That means surplus of the balance of payment and also the deficit of the balance of payment. But we can identify finally after the calculation the all the transaction and also the recording all the transaction. That means import export and also the financial transaction and also the capital transaction near the investment. So finally you can get the answer for the balance of payment. That means overall balance of the balance of payment. It will be a surplus. On the other hand, it will be a deficit of the balance of payment. Okay, this is the answer you can get finally after calculating or recording the balance of payment. So we need to identify that what's the meaning of surplus. If the country export more than import, that means if any country export more than import, that means the export value take a greater value than it compared to the imports. So it will help to make the plus balance in balance of payment. That is what we are called as surplus in the balance of payment. Okay. On the other hand, if any country less export with comparing to the import, that means the import quantity, import potential value is take a greater value than comparing to the export. It will help to create minus, that means negative value for the balance of payment, overall balance. So if the overall balance is in a minus value, negative, it can call as deficit of the balance of payment. This is the meaning of deficit of the balance of payment. So that means we need to identify that export, if you are going to export or export any country, it will create export income. That means the revenue for the society, revenue for the country. Okay. That means there may be some cash flow in which compared to the other country. Okay. On the other hand, if you are going to import goods and services or other investment and capital from other countries, it will help to create expenditure. That means import expenditure. Okay, the import expenditure is a good situation for the country which compared to the export income. But we know that the export of our country also had to face the export competition with other country production. Okay, our export quality and also the price of the export and also the exchange rate with the comparing to the international currencies and also the export quantity also will have to create a better income of export. Okay, if our situation all that factors which I already discussed, that means exchange rate and also the export quantity and also the competition with other countries, it's not good situation for our country export. Because of that, the export income will be reduced. Okay, export income will be reduced. But on the other hand, the domestic production is not enough to fulfill the domestic demand in our country. Okay, that means the domestic production is not enough to fulfill the domestic consumption or domestic demand. So we have to import goods and services by other countries. That means overseas transaction will be there. The imports, goods and services, and also the investment, some capital, equipments also will be there. Import from other countries. So import from other countries will help to increase the expenditure level in a country with other countries. So it will create a better payment from foreign reserve. So we no need to engage with rupees and cents for the international trade. We need to keep the international money reserve in our country. How we can gather the international currency in our country, it's help to create export. So if you are going to export more and more goods and services for the other countries, you will learn foreign currencies. That foreign currency help to create better import. So import is very indeed within a developing countries. Yes, already we know that some countries don't have any production like necessary commodity and services. Then we have to import some commodities and services from other countries. So there may be some imports which cannot control by the government or society or production process. So developing country has faced that kind of problem. That is why they had to face the deficit of the balance of trade. Okay, we have discussed about two components. What we got finally after recording all the transactions between resident and non-resident. Yes, there's only two ways to identify. First one is surplus in the balance of payment and also the deficit of the balance of trade. What's the meaning of surplus of the balance of payment? If any country export more and more commodities in comparison to the import, it will take the plus balance of the overall balance in the balance of payment. On the other hand, if any country import more and more commodities with compared to the export, that means income is less than with compared to the expenditure, it will create minus value to the overall balance in the balance of payment. It can call as deficit of balance of payment. So those are the main two components what we are going to identify and finally record in the balance of payment. Okay, then we have to identify what kind of components and what kind of factors will affect to create such a situation in the balance of payment. Okay, write down as a paragraph. Write down as a paragraph. Balance of payment statement. That means BOP statement. BOP statement indicate BOP statement indicate the country has the country has the country has the country has surplus or deficit in international transactions surplus or deficit in international transactions. Okay, write down here with the star mark what will happen in surplus in BOP or deficit of BOP. Okay, first one star with the star mark. Let's write down here. If country export more than its import, if country export more than its import, BOP is said to be surplus, like that one. Okay, BOP must be in surplus. Okay, next is star mark. If country import more than export, if country import more than export, BOP will be deficit balance. BOP will be deficit balance. Okay, you already discussed or study about the double entry system in accounting. Okay, we already discussed about the double entry system in accounting transaction, debit entry, and also the credit entry for individual businesses and also the corporate businesses and also non-profit organization. Also, we discuss with the accounting subject the double entry system. But you need to keep in mind that yes, there may be some double entry system in the accounting system and accounting subject. So you have good understanding about the double entry system with liabilities and other things. So we are going to discuss about economic factor in the economy. We are using double entry system and other new components for the entry for the balance of payment. So you just need to understand this is not accounting. Okay, you need to understand that this is not the accounting study. which you already discussed, that you already studied about double entry system, but who invented by the Luca Westwood. These are the components we are going to discuss in here. We can divide it just balance of payment in a three parts: the current account, capital account, and financial account. Okay, the transaction recording is will be a different type of transaction recording here with comparing to the accounting system. You need to keep in mind this is not accounting. This is economics. Okay, no need to find the method you learn in accounting, double entry system, and other things also must be in here. It is not where, it not will be here. That will be take some different type of tactics to understand the balance of payment transaction recording. Okay, we already discussed about the double entry system. According to transaction will be debit and the credit entry. Okay, keep in mind this is not the we are going to discuss. Okay, just consider the surplus will be there in the overall balance of payment, and what will be the effect for the economy. And if there is a deficit of balance of payment, what kind of effect is there for the economy and also the overall financial statement or financial strength of the country. We need to identify the effect of surplus and also the effect of deficit in the economy. And then we can move to the balance of payment, main components, and identify how we are going to record all the transactions in the sub-segment of the balance of payment. Okay, we need to identify that the effect of the surplus and also the effect of the deficit. In exam paper, you need to good understandability about the effect of the balance of payment, surplus or deficit. Okay, that is why we are going to discuss about that one. Some writing question in the second part of your A-level exam, asking the effect of the deficit and also the effect of the surplus which comparing to the other countries, what are the effect on the economy and also the creditability and payment of the creditability of the balance of payment, deficit, and the okay, let's discuss about the overall financial balance advantages with comparing to the surplus and also the deficit situation. Okay, let's write down some star mark and discuss with that statement what we are going to understand by the balance of payment and the deficit of the and also the overall balance surplus. Okay, first star mark in your notebook and write down here BOP of the country, BOP of a country, BOP of a country indicate BOP of a country indicate financial and economic status. Financial and economic status. Financial and economic status. Financial and economic status. So there's two status: financial and economic. that balance of payment represents the financial and economic history in a country. Yes, final balance is surplus. Our financial and economic strength will be in high level. Okay, if the deficit is here in here, the financial and economic strength will be in a low level with compared to the other countries. That means we have to pay that deficit. Okay, we have to pay that deficit, getting loan from other countries. In the next year, we have to pay the loan and also the interest rate. What will happen to the next year? So next year balance of payments also will be deficit, and you need to be a double your loan and also the interest rate, and take the loan from other countries and pay the import bill. That means this kind of country is look like Sri Lanka. Always balance of payment take deficit value. That means our financial strength and economic status is not good enough to create a better situation for the better living and for the who are living in this country. Just compare them to the surplus situation, it will represent the financial and economic strength in a high level because they got plus value. Finally, the plus value will be there for transaction with other countries. Because of that, that plus value can take to development of the country to ensure the increase the infrastructure facilities and also import more and more commodities. You can use that plus value, and also the you can give this plus value to as a loan for other countries. So it will be a long-term investment project. It can payment and also the interest rate will be there because of that plus value. Okay, just find out the balance of payment of United Kingdom. Will be like that one in high level of financial and economic strength, and also overall balance of always take a surplus value. It will mean the economy and also the financial strength is a better situation with compared to other deficit country look like Sri Lanka. Okay. Second, sum and write down. BOP determine country's currency. BOP determine country's currency value. Country's currency value appreciate or depreciate. Country value, currency value appreciate or depreciate. You just discussed about the exchange rate. So just discussed about the dollars and rupees exchange rate. $1 will be 202 with compared to the Sri Lankan rupees. Okay. If that situation change like $1, it is similar to 254 Sri Lankan rupees. That is a depreciate situation. Okay. If that change to $1 to 100 rupees, is appreciate. All the things will be depend on the surplus or deficit of the balance of payment. If your country takes the deficit value, your currency will be decreased. If you take surplus value, your country currency value will be increased and appreciate the exchange rate. Okay, the exchange rate will be determined under the surplus or deficit situation of the balance of payment. That means what we are going to do, export more or import more, export more or import more. That will be the factor which determine the value of the domestic currency with compared to the other currencies who are taking the exchange as international transaction. So we compare to the other countries. So, and also the third star mark. Okay, third star mark. BOP statement. BOP statement help to BOP statement help to government create financial policy. BOP statement help to create financial policies in a country. So if you just take the example in Sri Lanka, we know that the importing vehicles has been prohibited by the government. Why they do like that kind of things? Yes, because there's a deficit in the balance of payment. That means the export value is getting smaller value compared to the import. If release that one also, the import expenditure will be in high level compared to the export income. So we don't have foreign currencies to pay the import bills. Because of that, we need to cut down that kind of import. Okay, the fertilizer in current time period, fertilizer import also banned, and also the vehicle importing also banned. Why? This is not for our living standard. Okay, it is not for our country prosperous. This is for just we don't have any foreign currencies to pay the import bill. That is why they are going to ban import. So if you understand that the balance of payment, overall balance will change the government financial policies. Okay, that means if there is a surplus or deficit, it will help to create the changing in financial policies of the country. Okay, then let's move to the balance of payment elements. What we have to discuss in the balance of payment, what are the main components on the balance of payment? Okay, we study about the balance of payment, the meaning of the deficit, and also the surplus. Okay, balance of payment. This is what we are going to discuss. BOP. Then with three main components in the balance of payment in here. Balance of payment. Okay. First one is current account. First one is current account. So current transaction will be recorded in the current account. And also the second part is capital account. Okay. Capital transaction will be recorded in the capital account part. Okay. Final, the financial account. The financial transaction, that means financial liabilities, increasement or decreasement will be recorded in the financial account. Okay. First one is a current account and also the capital and financial. What we are going to discuss in today, the elements of the balance of payment, how to record all the transaction in other countries, how we can record all the transaction in the. If you are going to trans good and services, good and also the services, it is record in current account, denominated that CA, that means current account. Okay. If you are going to trans assets, it will be recorded in capital account. Okay, will be recorded in capital account. Okay, the investment and also the portfolio investment, negotiable indications and loan, all the things will be recorded in financial investment, loan, and other transaction will be recorded in financial account. That can FA, financial account. Okay, these are the main three components what we are going to discuss today. The balance of payment can be divided into main three parts. First one is current account. Recorded goods and services transaction, that means import and export goods and services. It will recorded in the current account. And also the capital account will be recorded as a transaction between non-resident and resident. And also the financial transaction, it will convert as a financial transaction. It is investment, loan, loan payment, and also interest payment. Any other transaction with regard to financial movement or financial facing value, it will record it in the financial account. Okay, write down this chart in your notebook and discuss the other components what we are going to today. Okay, write down. Okay. Those are the main components we have to discuss in the balance of payment. Okay. Then we need to identify what are the sub accounts, subcontinents we need to record in this main three components, which is the balance of payment. Okay, we already know that with three main part in the balance of payment: current account, capital account, and also the financial account. You just need to understand the current account. What kind of transaction will be recorded in the current account? This current account also can be divided into four parts. First one is trade account. Okay, first one is trade account. Trade between resident and also the non-resident. Okay. Second one is service account. Second one is service account. Third one is primary income account. Okay. And then you have to study about secondary income account. Okay, those are the main components you need to identify in the current account, and also the current account balance also will be a balance of the all those four components, that means trade, service, primary and secondary income. So the second one is capital account. In this capital account, we are going to record all the asset transaction. All the asset transaction between resident and non-resident. Okay, so the transaction with regard to the asset, okay, will be recorded in the capital account. Is the capital account components. In third, that means financial account. It will record investment transaction between resident and non-resident. Investment transaction. Okay. And also the intangible transaction. Intangible transaction. Also will be recorded in financial account. Intangible transaction also will be there between non-resident and resident. Okay, I will explain the what meaning of intangible transaction in the balance of payment. You may have good idea about the intangible transaction if compared with the company transaction and also the reputations, other things. Okay, it will be can convert as an intangible asset. So those are the main components we must understand. We have to calculate or record in the balance of payment. First one is current account. Current account has its main four components: trade account, service account, primary income account, and also the secondary income account. And capital account as asset transaction. It resident and non-resident. All the asset transaction will be recorded in capital. Financial account, investment and intangible transaction will be there for the record in balance of payment. Okay, write down all those components in your notebook. Okay, then write down the subtopic as current account. Then we are going to discuss about the current account. Okay, write down the subtopic as current account. Okay, subtopic as current account. Now we are going to discuss about the current account, what's the meaning of current account, and how we record the transaction in current account, the balance of payment. Okay, the record of the value of the flow, goods and services, and also the primary and secondary income will be recorded in the current account. That means the flow of goods and services, and also the primary and secondary income between resident and non-resident. That means Sri Lanka and rest of the world will be recorded in the current account. It can divide in four parts: trade and services, and also the primary account, and also secondary account. Those are the main four components with regarding the current account in the balance of payment. Okay, then write down as a paragraph: records value of the flow, record value of the flow, record value of the flow, value of the flow, goods and services, goods and services, comma, primary and secondary income, goods and services, comma, primary and secondary income, between Sri Lanka and rest of the world, between Sri Lanka and the rest of the world. This current account has main four components. This current account has main four components. current account has main four components: trade, service, primary, and secondary. Trade and service, primary and secondary accounts. Okay, we know that some exporters will be there. We already know that tea and coconut, gems, something like that, etc., will be exposed. Okay, it will have good income. That means the cash flow, the foreign currency will be in. The foreign currency in because of that foreign currency. Okay. On the other hand, if you are going to import rice, sugar, fertilizer, crude oil, you are going to import like that commodity from other country, you can consider import, and it will help to create the expenditure. That means the foreign currency in our country will go to the other country. That means outflow. Okay, we can't make transaction by using domestic rupees. Okay, domestic currency. We cannot do any international transaction with the domestic currency. That is why we need foreign currency to foreign reserve to ensure the import and pay the import bill. And also, if we are going to export any kind of commodity from our country to another country, that also create income of foreign currency. Okay, you need to keep in mind all the transaction will be depend on the foreign currency situation. That is why the exchange rate is very important to us to determine the income of the export and also determine the import expenditure. Okay, the two main components will be depend on the exchange rate. Okay, we will discuss about how the exchange rate determine and what the effect of that one. Okay, keep in mind all the expenditure and the income will be depend on the currency rate. Okay, you need to identify the transaction in the current account. We already discussed that tea, coconut, gems like that, etc. will be export to other country. It will create an income. That income will be creating foreign currency. That is a cash flow in India. And the sugar, fertilizer, oil, etc. Will be import from other country. That will help to create expenditure. We need to pay for this import bill. That import will pay by the foreign currency. That is a outflow cash in balance of payment. Okay, the export income. Okay, that you need to identify that export income. Okay. Export income. Export income. Export income. Export income will be a credit. Okay. Export income will be a credit. That means if you are going to take income, it will be a credit record for the current account. Okay. On the other hand, import expenditure. Import expenditure will be a debit record in balance of payment current account part. That means the cash outflow, it will be a debit. Cash inflow, it will be a credit record for the balance of payment. Okay, you need to write down in your notebook this these two only. Okay, what you need to better understanding to ensure the balance of payment. First one is export income. It will be a credit record. Okay, that import expenditure, it will be a debit record for the current account. Okay, write down these two main components. What you need to identify. What you need to identify in the current account. Okay. Okay, you identify the how you record the income and expenditure in balance of payment current account part. Okay, you are facing some export income, you need to credit one, and also there is export expenditure, you need to debit that. Okay, we discussed that current account has main four components: that trade account, service account, primary income, and also the secondary income. Okay, then take an example for the trade account. Okay, we are going to identify the trade account. Okay, this is just example. Okay, it's not a real trade account in Sri Lanka. This is example. Finally, we can identify the real account. We need some simplified all the balance of payment category and discuss part by part. It will help to create a better understanding level of in your mind. That is why I'm going to discuss part of part, not all the balance of payment in one time. Discussing it will be difficult to understand. That is why I'm going to discussing part by part. Okay, the trade account. This is the trade account. So we discussed earlier that if there is a income, what will happen? If there is a income, it will be a credit. Okay, credit. What we are going to credit? That is income. Okay. If we are going to face expenditure, it will be debit. Okay. That means this part is expenditure. Expenses. Okay. Okay, then write. Sorry. Still must be in here. Income. This is credit. That is income. And also the second one is debit. This expenditure, expenses. and also the net value. Net effect also must be recorded in the balance of payment. Okay, if you get that done, credit, debit, and net effect for the balance of payment. First one is we are exporting or importing commodities. Okay, that means goods and services. If you are going to export goods and services, it will be an income. Just consider we export commodities and take income 5,000. It is must be recorded in here. Okay. On the other hand, we import commodities. The bill value of the commodity is 10,000. Okay. It will record it in here. The net value for the commodity transaction between non-resident and resident, it will minus 5,000. Okay, the net value. We are not going to concern about the credit and debit. We are just concerned about the net value, that is minus 5,000. It will be the important part. It will be the it will affect to the overall balance of the balance of payment. Okay. On the other hand, non-financial gold transaction will be there. Non-financial gold transaction. Do not consider about what's the meaning of non-financial gold. Non-financial gold. It's okay. I will tell you the story about the non-financial. Okay. You are exporting non-financial gold to the other countries at create income 2,000. It will record it in credit list. And also, you are going to import non-financial gold. The value of this transaction 4,000. That means expenses. So the net effect for this, it will be minus 2,000 of this transaction with the export and import. That means income and expenses. Okay, those are the things we need to identify. How we record the transaction in the trade account. Okay, where the trade account situations, we discussed that we have main three components in the balance of payment: current account, capital account, and financial account. We are dividing current account into 4 parts: trade account, service account, and also primary and secondary account. We just discuss about only the balance of the trade account. Then what will happen to the balance of the trade account? Yes, it will be 7,000 minus 7,000 balance in the trade account. It will help to create a deficit of the balance of payment. Okay, because the value is in negative value. Okay, we already discussed that if the overall value is take a negative value, it will be a deficit. So if the overall value is, it will be a plus value, it will be a surplus in the balance of payment. Okay, this is the first one. We discussed that a trade account. Okay, write down this account statement, and I will teach you what the meaning of non-financial gold. Okay, copy down this all the transaction in your notebook, and I will tell you the story about the non-financial gold. Okay. Okay. And then let's move to the identify the non-financial goal. Non-financial goal. That's the topic. We need to identify non-financial goal. Okay. You may have good identification about understanding about goal. Okay. The valuable things you need to identify goal. That means non-financial goal. Okay. That means there may be financial goal also. Financial goal also will be there. And non-financial goal. If you can address non-financial goal, there may be financial goal also there. Yes. Financial goal also there and non-financial goal also there. Let's discuss what's the meaning of financial goal. The financial goal means the financial authority. That means if you consider about Sri Lanka, the financial authority is CBSL. That means Central Bank of Sri Lanka is the financial authority. They are the owners. They are the managers. Keep the reserve, foreign reserve. Okay, foreign reserve. Reserve. That foreign reserve can be kept by using dollars or euro or anything which is more valuable than our domestic currency. Okay, that is why we are keeping the reserve from the dollar or euro or other currencies which acceptable in international trade. Okay, why we need reserve? Why we need reserve? So that's the main component. Yes, we need reserve. Just consider about bike. You may have ride bike. Some bike, there may be some fuel reserve there. Reserve, fuel reserve. What that means? Fuel reserve. You're riding a bike. Okay, the fuel is going to be consumed continuously with the ride, and also there's no empty fuel tank will be there. But if you convert the equipment that to R reserve, that open, on, off, and reserve. Okay, you need to on the fuel to the engine, then you can ride. After that, your fuel is going to be zero. Then you convert to the reserve R, and you can ride the bike just few kilometers only. Okay. That means the reserve used in emergency. Okay. The reserve used in emergency. So our country also maybe have to face the emergency situation. What kind of situation? Environmental problem will be there, flood, something like that one. Heavy rain after the flood, and also the tsunami, attack from other countries, just like India or Pakistan or any other countries are going to test. We're going to underline that one. So we need reserve. Why we need reserve? To ensure the life of the human being who are living in this country. We need reserve. In that kind of emergency situation, our production will be reduced. Okay. In that kind of emergency, our transactions and transport Each and every economic activity will be reduced because of the emergency situation. Just imagine the corona virus pandemic situation in current period. Also, our transaction and other some economic activities will be reduced because of the banned from the country according to the health situation. So that kind of situation you need to use reserve. What kind of reserve you have? Dollar, crude oil, and also the gold. The gold bar used to accumulate the wealth of the country. Okay, the gold bar used to accumulate the country wealth that can call as financial gold. This is not for the meant for the rings or necklace or anything. Okay, this is for you just used to accumulate the wealth and also the reserve for the country that can call as financial gold. Financial gold. Okay, then let's move to the gold that can call as non-financial gold. The gold used for jewelry and other industrial product and wealth people to accumulate the wealth. It's not for the government. Okay, jewelry, other industrial product, jewelry, other industrial product, accumulate the wealth of people, not for the financial authority. Okay, not for the people. Those are the non-financial gold in the economy. Okay, those are the non-financial gold in the economy. This is the financial economy, financial gold in the economy that the reserve hold in the reserve assistance authority that can financial gold. Sorry about the non-financial gold. Okay, write down the topic as non-financial gold. Non-financial gold. Non-financial gold. Okay, write down in here. Except reserve hold, except reserve hold as reserve hold as reserve hold as reserve management, reserve hold as reserve management by the financial authority, by the financial authority. Gold used for the jewelry and other industrial product, jewelry and other industrial product, jewelry and other industrial product, accumulate the wealth of people, accumulate the wealth of people, accumulate the wealth of people, can be called as non-financial gold, non-financial gold. Okay, you need to identify the financial goal or non-financial goal. We just identify the non-financial goal. Finally, we can identify and discuss about the financial, how to transact the financial goal between non-resident and resident, how to accumulate the country reserve with by using the financial gold, and what are the transactions what we can identify with the financial gold. Okay, you need to identify the non-financial goal. Okay, then okay, you identify the financial goal. Okay, this is the transaction we need to record in the balance of payment with regarding the trade account. Okay, let's take a break and I will come with 10 minutes. Okay, we'll come in 10 minutes.